Hello there. As we head into the international break, how confident do we feel about Forest making the Champions League? It's taken 2 months, but finally we can reflect on a Mansfield Town win. And how many more chances will Notts County get to move into the top 3 as they miss out again in their East Midlands derby? I'm Mark Shardlow. Welcome along to Team Talk. For watching. I hope you've had a good week and are ready for some Nottinghamshire football talk, whether on Notts TV or on YouTube. Today we've got a cracking five-a-side team here in the studio. Firstly, the dodgy defence, and that's me. Quite a lot got by me at right back in the Long Eaton Sunday League back in the day. But what about our attack? Out wide or in the middle with 69 goals for Notts County from 221 appearances, it's only Charlie McFarland. If it's pace you want, we got it. He's netted for Forest, Derby, Notts and Chesterfield. It's the ageless Nathan Tyson. Next, he's scored at the highest of levels and also became a handy centre-back. 99 career goals with Forest, Manchester United and Notts amongst them. It's Miracle Man Gary Birtles. And last but not least, former player for Notts County and Nottingham Forest, a handy centre defender. It's Notts County fan Colleen Mulvaney. Well, I think we've got a decent setup there.
Can I just correct you? Where did you get your information? It's not Wikipedia, was it?
Why?
Because it's wrong.
How many goals did you score?
For Notts, 90.
Right, okay. Right.
And 300 appearances.
Well, that's a good start, Charlie. You complaining. We always love that.
So just
I scored 99 for Forest, but you said 99 for all the teams I played for.
You scored 99 for Forest, so you're complaining too about my research.
Yes. So
I didn't get many for Man United, but I think I got a few.
How did you feel about just being on 99 and not getting 100?
I never knew until people told me a few years ago.
Were you not a stat man?
No, not bothered about that. Never been a stat man.
Yeah. Nathan, were you a stat man?
Before I came to Forest, yeah. I think I was scoring a goal every other game at Wycombe.
Your record at Wycombe was like 39 goals?
So I ended up with, I think it was 52 or 54 in like 100 and something appearances.
It was nearly a goal every other game.
Yeah, the first stint was 44 in 82 games.
Yeah, then you came to Forest.
Then came to Forest and went downhill. Got injured. Yeah. No, I just got pitched out wide. Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Brilliant. And Colleen...
2 in 3 years, I'm afraid.
Oh, right.
But I was centre half.
That's decent.
I'll take 1 in 40. Right, we're going to start with the big boys. Nottingham Forest, the Reds strengthened their bid for Champions League football on the weekend with a 4-2 away win at Ipswich Town. 3 of those goals came across 6 minutes in the first half, including a brace from Anthony Elanga, minutes after defender Nikolai Milenkovic opened the scoring for the Reds. Ipswich scored a couple later on in the second half, but Jota Silva goal added a 4th for Forest late on too. And speaking afterwards, head coach Nuno Espirito Santo said he was happy with his side's performance.
The main message beginning of the game was to be compact, realize that Ipswich at home are strong. Is a team that scores most in the first 15 minutes. It's a statistic that we really took care of it, and after that, like you said, I think we controlled possession, and there was a good spell of movement with the ball, good mobility that we were able to unbalance Ipswich and achieve beautiful goals. But we were able to control, and we had a good spell. We had a good spell in the first half that we took advantage of the talented players that we have. Also, Ipswich unbalanced in certain moments. Overall, a very good performance.
It's just like we've come to expect this season, wasn't it? Just a decent, polished performance, I thought, against a poor Ipswich defence.
Yeah, but you've still got to go and beat these poor defences. You know, which have caused teams problems this season. We saw it at the City Ground, the league game. You know, they weren't bad that day. We only just sneaked through that game. They had more possession than us, as they did at the weekend, had more possession. But most teams have had more possession than us in more or less every game. So you've got to go and beat these teams. You know, they think they've still got a chance of staying in the Premier League. You know, so that's difficult when you've got a team like that to play against. The one thing I want to say, why is Morgan Gibbs-White not in the England squad to start with?
Yeah.
You know, that staggered me.
Just on the game on Saturday, again, we thought, like, after the Man City, after the Lord Mayor show, let's not be a banana skin. Yeah. It was a wee tricky one. But Forest, put them to the sword. And let's not forget as well, Ipswich Town have spent £130 million. It means nothing if you don't spend it on the right players. But Forrest put them to the sword and were ruthless. And Elliot Anderson was outstanding in the game. And I'm nitpicking and attention to detail. And I'm sure they've went down, mission accomplished, they won the football match, but conceding 2 late goals, right? Nuno in the back.
He won't like that.
He won't like that, but again, they got the job done.
But it's not many months ago since we were sitting around this table and we're saying, like, the thing with Forest is that they're a 1-goal team. They only score 1 and it's Chris Wood and without Chris Wood. And here they are, 4 goals and different scorers. And things seem to be changing by the month, really, at Forest. Just an improvement.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, like I said earlier, last time I was here, thinking I would just be happy with being mid-table, but now you look at it, it's just gone out of hand almost. But it's just great to see that other players are now contributing to the goals as well, instead of just relying on, especially on Woods as well. And you know, I agree with you with Morgan Gibbs-White not getting an England call-up. I don't know what more he can do, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But just seeing where Forest are at the moment, it's fantastic to watch. And like Charlie says, they've absolutely done a right job. And it is a banana skin. You know, you have the highs of it. I'm sure we've had it in our careers. You've had the highs of playing a top team, then you've got to go and play someone who's struggling, and it's a banana skin.
You're expected to be
Yeah.
there. That's the problem.
Forest are expected now.
Yeah.
We expect Forest to win every week now.
But they're handling that pressure well, aren't they?
I
It seems
think
to me.
very well.
remarkably well. You just look back to the Bournemouth game where they battered us, and the response to that since has been exceptional. And I think that tells you so much about the squad he's got, and the belief he's got in his players, and the belief they've got in him. You know what he's doing. And you see Milinkovic on the score sheet again. I keep picking him out because
What
I
a
have
finish.
to. Yeah, absolutely. But he's been instrumental, I think, along with Murillo, for what's going on this season. Yes, Chris Wood has been brilliant up front, but you know, you always build from the back, and that's after last season conceding so many from set pieces. That's been put right, and you know, the rest has come, you know, flowingly. Really, you know, when they break up play, how quickly they break with Gibbs-White, Anderson. I agree with you about Anderson, different class. He gives Gibbs-White and the rest of them the wherewithal to go forward and press forward and make things happen. And Alanga, he's come alive, you know, with Hudson-Odoi. It's a pleasure to watch. It puts a smile on your face.
God, a smile on your face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
When it's a smile on your face, you're well, man.
Really good,
I came in
that.
on the bus today and somebody said to me, you must be absolutely delighted with the way it's going. I said, you can't believe you wake up every day and think, is this a dream? Because anybody who said Forest were going to be in the top 3 at the start of the season are liars. You know,
But too, you know, I would
it's
say
just
like
incredible.
go back to October and fans calling for him to be left out and
Yeah.
Jota
Nuno,
Silva
we were
coming
asking
in.
for Nuno last season to be
Yeah,
sacked at the back
sacked at the
end.
end
You
this time
know,
last year.
You
That
were
wasn't-
asking questions last year.
No, not about
you
him. Not
you
about
says
him.
give him to Christmas this year.
No, I didn't. I said give the summer.
Can we look up this light?
I said you've got to give him the summer to get his methods across, get his own players in, and he's done unbelievably well.
Can I just say something? I think Forest are not being respected enough by the
totally
rest of
agree
it.
with you.
There's too many other distractions, the whole Manchester United saga. Newcastle now finally winning the trophy. Man City, all this stuff.
Spurs.
There's,
Villa in Europe and
exactly.
yeah.
I feel like no one's really respecting Forest
Exactly.
and actually acknowledging, hold on a minute. Yeah, they're up there, but they're kind of like, they'll drop off. I think everyone's waiting for them to drop off, but it's not happening. And I think Forest needs to be respected a lot more and taken more seriously for their position.
Colleen, go on.
No,
Let
no,
Colleen
no,
have a
no,
say.
I don't want to say.
Let
I don't
Colleen
want
have
to
a
say. Go on, Colleen.
Right. I think what is remarkable is that a year ago today, 12 months ago today, Forest are in the bottom 3. It's phenomenal, really, isn't it?
It is. I mean, all respect to Forest, they're brilliant. I think it's one of the weakest Premier Leagues that I've seen for a good few years. I mean, Liverpool are flying, or they were. Arsenal, they're keeping up with them just about. Man United, Man City, Villa, Spurs, Chelsea.
Yeah.
So inconsistent. And what Forest have been, mostly, is consistent.
Yeah.
Not brilliant, but they're consistent. And it reminds me a little of when Leicester went, because they do it on the break.
The league was a weak one, didn't
Exactly, and
Go on, here's speaking of Notts County.
Yeah.
We're going to say you're a
Yeah.
Notts County
I
fan.
am,
So,
yeah.
so how do we
Thumbs up,
take
yeah.
Colleen saying it's
Yeah.
a weak league this
Well,
time?
Listen, it's maybe not as strong, but maybe it's not weak. Maybe these, like the Man United, they're a shambles. The manager's a shambles, and I don't care saying it. He talks. Just go and win a football match. The Tottenham Hotspur manager, go and win a football match. Talk. Nottingham Forest, right? I've just got their heads down. Nuno, if he finishes in the top 4, right, he should get manager of the year from the League Managers Association.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
Charlie, to be fair, I was listening to the radio at the weekend, and the people who were on were absolutely giving Forest so much praise, loving every minute of what they're doing. They weren't Forest fans, but they were praising what Nuno's done, what the players had done, saying it's fantastic to see somebody like Forest, after what happened last season, doing what they're doing this season. It's not a fluke, I keep saying that. You know, you're up there by right. You deserve to be there, and whether it's weak or not, it's not as, you know, there's still a hell of a lot of good teams and a hell of a lot of good players.
Still got to compete.
Absolutely.
It's still the toughest league in the world. And let's forget about Spurs. Forget about Man United. They're also runs at the minute. Concentrate on a team who's been put together, and you can see what they work on in the training ground. And the manager has went, this is the type of player I've got, so this is how I'm going to play. I've got the right system to go and win football matches. Yes, we have not got a lot of possession, but we win football matches. You know, I think they've won 8 away games. They've had 12 clean sheets. They've got Chris Wood, who's one of the top goal scorers in the division.
Let's not forget him, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League.
Goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, back
Absolutely
4.
pragmatic and done it spot on week after week after week. Well, that's all for now, but after the break, we'll be talking more about Forest and that late but deserved, I would say, England call-up for playmaker Morgan Gibbs-White. That and a look ahead to Forest Premier League run-in 2 next. Hello, welcome back to Team Talk with me, Mark Shardlow, joined today by Charlie McParland, Nathan Tyson, Gary Birtles and Colleen Malvani. Right, Forrest, you'll want to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White. It was a disgrace, was it, that he was left out of the squad when Tuchel announced it at the weekend, firstly? I didn't understand it.
I couldn't believe it, I really couldn't. I mean, they were talking about Anderson, Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White, and for all 3 to be left out, you know, you're thinking, you know, he's brought Henderson back, you know, at that age, you know, he's been to Saudi, he's now in Holland, and, you know, for goodness sake, the Dutch league isn't the strongest, by the way, you know, and what Morgan's done for Forest this season is just incredible, and to be left out, he must have been so down when he saw that squad.
He's been doing it for, you know, the 2 seasons as well, so he was doing really well last year, and now everything seems to have fallen into place this season, and I just think he deserved it. He's worked hard.
Before, though. You know, when you've seen him for England, he's looked lively, he's looked well, he wants to get involved, and you're thinking, that's what England need, and to just leave him out was staggering.
And I think when I think it from Morgan's position, if you see that Jordan Henderson, what have you done, Gary? You dropped me the microphone. Jeez.
It's an instinct.
To see that Jordan Henderson's in the squad, and you must feel like, oh, what do I have to do?
Exactly, yeah, it's poor. You've got to take players for how they're performing now, not what they've done in the past. I mean, what has Jordan Henderson done recently? No.
I think he should go in for him at the minute.
Yeah, definitely.
And
you should always go in for him.
Yes. We guys and myself have a little moan about Morgan Gibbs-White. He's a wee bit flicky dick in the middle of the pitch.
I think he's got that his game now.
Well, I'm hoping he has. But I look at that number 10 position and stuff like that. There's really Foden. But I actually think Gibbs-White's had a better season than Foden.
Agreed.
Cole Palmer, he's injured. Fantastic player. I think he's the best about it at the minute. And I think it's hard done by Morgan Gibbs-White not being in the squad, because actually Henderson, you know, they've got like Rice who can sit in there and be a sitting midfielder. And I'm also Elliot Anderson. Wow. The 2 players for me should be in England squad are Elliot Anderson and Gibbs-White. Elliot Anderson for his all-round game. He's got everything. He can tackle, he can get his head up, he can see a pass, he works ever so hard. Unbelievable. And he's still a young lad.
He breaks up play really.
That's what I mean. He tackles, he wins tackles.
I like the way Morgan dealt with it though.
Yeah.
Tuchel spoke to I don't know if you heard his interview, but
Yeah, I did.
Tuchel spoke to him and he said, "Well, I disagree with you, but I respect your decision." And then he took it on the chin when he phoned him on Sunday to say, "How do you fancy coming and joining us after all?" And he spoke really well. I thought Morgan Gibbs-White, really mature.
Absolutely, and you know that just shows. I think he's mature in every way. You know, the way he's playing, the way he leads the team, and you've got to give him great credit.
Right, let's bring it back to Champions League. Let's have a look at the league table, and it's pretty much as you were, isn't it? Really, not a lot has changed, and that gap. And we're assuming 5th will make Champions League.
We're talking about 6th as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
now?
I think we're in a position, aren't we, where if Forest didn't make Champions League, we'd be disappointed. Is that fair?
I think it's very fair. You know, it seems strange to be saying that. I mean, Arsenal did us a favour by beating Chelsea at the weekend as well, just to keep them a little bit further behind. You know, it's in our hands really. You know, we've got Chelsea to play last game of the season. You don't want it to go to the last game of the season. But, you know, the run-in is not overly bad, but you've still got to win things. And I don't think we presume we're going to win every football match. That's what I like about the team at the moment. They know that every game can be a banana skin, and they dealt with that against Ipswich. You know, by going those 3 goals in the first half, put the game to bed. And I think that's what Nuno has bred into those players, that they can do that. And when they do it, they can go on and finish it off instead of before maybe sitting back and, you know, sort of letting teams back into it. You know, we can finish things off, and I just love what I'm seeing at the moment.
Are you getting random calls from journalists all over the world?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've had one from New Zealand about Chris. I had a French guy. Yeah, they're all wanting to, you know, talk about what's going on there. Yeah. And I always say this: it's great for the city of Nottingham. You know, it puts. You know, like I say, I came on the bus today and people are talking to you about it. You know, how's good. I go for a walk in the morning and people stopping you saying, "What do you think? How good's this?" And you know, there's a priest in Long Eaton at the CC Church. You know, I bump in. I bump into him. He's a great lad. He knows my name. Shut up for a minute.
And redeem yourself, guys.
Oh, for goodness.
Looking out for me.
On my head, son.
Yeah.
On my head.
Yeah, so, you know, that's what Forest are doing. They're getting people talking. They're getting people happy. You know, and it's a great place to be when you know your football. That shows how important football is generally across, you know, the country, across the world. It lifts the spirits of people when things are going well, when your country's doing well, when your city's doing well, and you know it's great to watch and it's great to be part of.
So with 9 to go, are we all agreed then that it's Champions League?
Yes, I said a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was really positive about it. But just to nip back on the international football, Elliot Anderson, if they don't pick you at England, never mind those under-21s, there's a good team just over the border there called Scotland.
Dear.
And you could go up there and make us a good side. Come on, Elliot, son.
From the heart again, Charles.
Yeah, come on.
What about Champions League? Colleen?
It pains me to say it, but yeah, it's theirs to lose, isn't it? It's theirs to lose
It's a
now.
Nottingham thing.
It's not a Notts County, it's not. It really isn't.
Nathan, how are you viewing it?
Yeah, I think, you know, you've got yourself amongst it all. You might as well just go full throttle. Don't hold back. It's like you said, what, 9 games to go? Is that right? Yeah, you just got to go all out. I've got a nice little break coming up now, and refresh yourselves. And then get going again.
I worry about this break though.
Yes.
I
really worry about it.
14 players away.
That's why you've got to get that R&R in.
You've got
to
to
get that rest in.
as well as a buffer. Let's have a look at the league games that are coming up. If you look at the screens, those guys, you can see the next sort of few games for Forest, Manchester United. You're saying, well, actually, I think they've found a bit of form lately.
They've found a wee bit for them, but I'd like to think, like at the City ground, if Forest are at it, they've not got any legs in their team. Manchester United, they're like, they can't run. But don't get me wrong, on their day, they can go and win a football match, but if Forest are at it, they're tight at the back, and the way the Forest midfield players run, the wide players run, they should be able to run over the top of them, you know, and that kind of... Yeah. But listen, it's Man United, let's not forget that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that list,
Aston Villa's the one.
There's still some
Of course there is.
games to play there, aren't there,
It's
to
a
get
Premier
over the
League. It's the
line.
Premier League.
It's a
Yeah,
Premier League.
week
Premier
after
League.
week after week, you cannot
Take your foot off the
take your
pedal.
foot off, can you?
can't
The
at all.
players have all got to be play at their level, from Sells at the top to Wood.
Which he has, he's been outstanding now.
But you can't drop. You can't. We've seen what happened when the levels dropped at Bournemouth.
Well, I'm not sure the levels did drop. I think
don't
everybody
think
had an off day.
Yeah.
You know, I think it wasn't 3 or 4. I think the whole team did.
Yeah.
And we had opportunities, to get back in the game, but didn't take them. But I've got to look at these stats again.
Yeah.
The Ipswich ones, 56% of possession to Ipswich, 438 passes to our 356, 84% pass accuracy, 78, 6 corners to 3. And
it's what you do with the ball.
Exactly, and we win 4-2.
It's what you do when you've got possession.
It's only one team lost at the weekend and they had the most possession.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When you look at this.
Listen, it's what you do with the ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're feeling this is good. We've got a 2-week gap. You're a bit worried about having a break, or
Has Chris Wood got to go for New Zealand
Yes,
or not?
yeah.
Right.
There's 14 of the players, and that it just shows you how far Nottingham Forest have come. 14 international players, right? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And Nuno and his staff they'll be in the back of their head.
Yeah.
Come on, no injuries, especially the key players, the Gibbs Whites and the Elliot Anderson's away with the under 21s. I don't know what you're doing with him, son.
No.
Under 21s, like he's got Ollie in away. He's got they're all Milenkovic.
Sells away as well.
Mario Sell. Yeah. You just want them to come back healthy.
Yeah.
So you can you don't upset the apple cart. Get going and get going again.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, can you imagine losing Murillo and Milenkovic? You don't want to put that in people's minds, but if that happened, that could scupper everything, and it'd be a big crying shame.
Any club that loses their best players is going to struggle. Simple as that. Doesn't matter who you're.
Tottenham have lost all their back four. They've struggled.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, no game for Forest then this weekend, back in the Cup in a week's time. Let's move on to Forest women. And it was yet another win for them after they saw off Derby County 2-0 at the City Ground in front of around 4,000 at the weekend. Forest were awarded a penalty in the first half for a handball in the box. This was put away by Charlie Wellings with ease. The Reds then doubled their advantage 10 minutes into the second half when Mel Johnson freed Wellings into space in the area before she put it away. Not great goalkeeping. The win for the Reds means they're still unbeaten, top of the league, 5 points clear of Wolves, 4 games left. Next up, though, a small matter of a League Cup final. I mean, we talk about Forest men, but from the women's side, it looks like promotion nailed on. Cup final coming up as well, the League Cup final against Stoke. Going well.
Good season all around for Forest,
She's saying it
It's
painfully.
killing me.
You can see the blood flashing behind the tongue there.
Are you such a Notts County fan that even as someone who's played an important part of women's football in Nottingham, that you can't be happy for women's football?
No, for women's football, very happy, yeah. I struggle with the men's, but...
Yeah, fine.
But we forget Nottingham Forest are in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup as well. The men's team. But regarding the women's team, that's what you get when you invest in your team. You invest in your... It's just like the men's game. If you invest in your team and you go full-time and you pay the best players the money, you'll go and get promoted. Simple as that, and that's what they've done. So when they go up to the next league, they'll need to invest again to go to the next level.
You're talking about owners, you talk about Jim Ratcliffe, and we've got Mr. Marinakis. You think, well, thank goodness, the difference in Manchester United at the moment, Nottingham Forest at the moment, and I think that speaks
been
volumes.
Really, really stable and positive 12 months for sure. Right, after the break, we'll talk all about Mansfield Town, who have finally won a game of football after they saw off Barnsley on Saturday. That coming up after this break. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, joined by Charlie McParland, Nathan Tyson, Gary Birtles and Kaleem Malvani. We're going into League One now, and Mansfield Town, who recorded their first win in 14 games when they saw off Barnsley at the One Call on Saturday. Caelan Vickers opened the scoring for the Stags 11 minutes into the match, but Josh Benson levelled the score for the visitors early into the second half. The Stags left it late to secure the 3 points, Deji Oshalaja scoring right at the death to secure the win for the Stags. And speaking after the game, manager Nigel Clough said his players did the basics well and finally saw things fall their way.
It's been an incredible run of, I don't know, a lot of injustice in games in football, and I think for the first time today, for a long time, we got our rewards. One drop for us in the 6-yard box, and Deji tucked it away in the 89th minute. The number of times that hasn't happened in the last 8, 9, 10 games has been incredible, and you see the difference when it actually drops for you today. I think we did the basics better, certainly than we did on Tuesday. Made it more difficult for the opposition. Got some very good, steady performances today.
At last, I mean, you spoke to Nigel this morning. I think you rang him this morning. What's he saying about how things are?
Yeah, it was just exactly what he said there. He said to me, you know, something's finally dropped. You know, they've been unlucky in games. You know, they've had that big injury list again that, you know, he always seems to get, the illness. But you've got to get through that. And that win might just be the spur they need to, you know, go to the end of the season and allay any fears of getting dragged into a relegation battle.
Yeah, we sat here last week watching Andy Garner, the assistant, absolutely rip into the players in a way.
At all, is it?
I've never heard you know, anything like that. He really ripped into them all, didn't he? He said, you know, from 1 to 11, effectively, like, you're useless.
Well,
but they reacted.
They reacted. They got the win, so it worked. And if you're a player, and you know when you've played well, and you know when you've played bad. And you should be big enough to take that on the chin, right, and say, well, he's right. That wasn't a great performance for me or the team. I have to do something about this. Then on the Saturday they went and did something about it, and they were pretty steady. They were never in real trouble, you know, against Barnsley.
They were a good team.
You're a good side. You're a big club in that league, and I was really delighted they got the goal in the last minute. Because they went to Burton Albion and they played Burton Albion off the pitch. Lucas missed the penalty in the 89th minute. And I do think if they'd won that game, they'd have really kicked on. Played against Wigan, dominated the game. Wigan didn't have a shot on target, but we couldn't convert the chances and the half chances. And that's what it's all about. And Deji's back in the team. And he's a big miss, Deji, because I think he's been a colossus this season. You know, he's quick, he's strong, he's a good leader. And it was really good for him to get the winning goal. So I'll probably say 50 points, that's the safety net. Yeah. And if we get to 50 points and stay in the league, I think that's a big success.
Yeah, well, let's bring up the table then. We can. It's hard to see because when it's mid-table to get context there. So they're the Stags 15th, 44 points. They are, 8 points ahead of Burton, who are the team fourth from bottom. So they're the only team effectively in that bottom four, I think, who can take over Mansfield and the teams below them. So, like you said, it's sort of 9 games left, 2 wins for a team like Mansfield. Surely that's you're feeling, having finally nailed those 3 points, it's a big confidence boost.
Definitely, you want to get that 52-point mark is the one that you want to get up to. And
you don't think 50 will be it? 52 is definite.
I'd say 52.
52 is definite.
You'd
right?
always, in your head, 52,
yeah.
and then whatever happens after that, you've got to be thinking, right, okay.
You want it in your hands, don't you?
Yes.
You don't want it in anybody else's hands but yourselves.
Try and get to that.
So they're 8 points in front of Burton. So Burton have to win 3 games.
Yeah.
Right. Mansfield have to lose another 3 games for them to go above them.
But hopefully the momentum changes now. I mean,
it definitely
you've
is.
been in a team that's been on a you know, like Nigel was saying, like, we just need a win or we need a break, a lucky break somewhere.
Yeah, it was like that at Doncaster, 17 games winless, and seriously, it was so strange because everything we hit, things were getting cleared off the line, woodwork.
That's what happens.
And you just think, where's this win? And suddenly we ended up winning. We beat Wigan at the time, who were chasing promotion, beat them at our place. So things like that concerned, but it was just too late. It was too late. The damage was done. But in Mansfield's favour here, they've got enough to recover. They're not down in that actual relegation zone.
It's just a shame the game's off on Saturday against Leyton Orient, because they've just got a home one, got another home game on Saturday, which has been called off for the international break because you think the lads have picked up a bit after getting that win. I think it erupted at the stadium. Got that last minute goal. What a time to score a goal.
Exactly.
No time for the other team to recover. And just going into it gives the lads a little bit of a lift. As we all well know, a win, it's like puts an extra yard on your step and to go again. So, but it's not to be. But again, it's in their hands.
They've called it for an international break, haven't they, Leighton Orient? So been rearranged the 8th of April. Is that genuine? Is there a little bit of tactics going on there?
Well, you never know. You never know what Richie Wellings is thinking about it. So,
right,
I mean, let's move on. Let's move on.
Don't get started.
Last time, didn't somebody say
I
that it was
don't
wrong?
know like that. But listen, I won't say too much on that.
Not like you to keep your mouth shut, Charlie.
The break might do them good because they've had all that pressure.
Yes,
the 14
yes.
games, they've finally got this one over the line. Nice little break.
Good
you know,
point,
I'm
yeah.
pretty,
Because-
but I know what you mean. The momentum's there. You want to keep it going, but a nice little break from what's
Sometimes
gone.
it's good for the players to get away from the staff.
Yeah.
The staff to get away from the players, and the players will come back and
Yeah.
they'll have looked after themselves.
To get away from you.
And they get away with them. Yeah, I mean, so it can work the other way.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the next few games coming up. How do you, as a Notts County fan, I guess, you know, you're a bit like this with Mansfield Town as well,
I
are
think
you?
they've done enough this season to stay up. I think
Two
that
wins,
win was just so important, and I think, and against a good side, as you say. So, I think Keeler did an assist there as well. So
Yeah, it was really the key to the season.
Yeah.
We said last week how many goals he scored for Barnsley.
Yeah.
Those goals have been
Yeah.
stags.
Yeah.
Look, we have here Bristol Rovers, Charlton, Huddersfield. They've snuck the Leighton Orient one in as we've been on air at the 8th of April, then Rotherham and Reading. They look a reasonable run of fixtures to me there.
Listen, I think that's a bit tough, but they're capable. They're capable of, you know, getting the results, getting that like couple of results. No, definitely.
Yeah.
They won't be ready.
They're doing well, aren't they? They're a big club in that division.
Yeah, it's just it's a mess.
But
It's a mess down
will
there.
have difficult games as well.
Yes,
You know, the
yes,
pressure's on them.
You know, listen, just for instance, like Burton Albion go and lose a game on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actually hope they do. I'm not beaten because like I want Mansfield to stay in the division. So
I think that's though. I think they've got a bit more character about them in terms of the players that they have, and I think they can just get them across the line. They'll get the 52 points.
Yeah. Do you feel this is a division that Notts County could perform in?
Not necessarily with the team we have at the moment. No. They didn't recruit well in January. I don't think we got. You just took 3 kids on and they're on the bench, and you look at the bench and you think.
Well, the phone is saying you never win anything with kids.
Well, we have one that performs really well, but you know, it's few and far between.
I think, you know, we've seen, haven't we, that the Stags season started well, but actually they're now been in a relegation battle. It is despite the fact they ran away with League Two pretty much last season. It's a step
it's a
up.
different ball game. If you look at the clubs that are in that, like Huddersfield Town's been in the Premier League. You know, Reading's been in the Premier League. Wigan, Charlton. You know, just Wrexham with all the money, Stockport with all the money. Never for one moment all year have I went, oh, this is going to be a formality. Not at all. And it's like you say, as Jimmy Greaves used to say, the younger people who watch the show won't remember, it's a funny old game. If Mansfield Town have a bad start to the season, then come good at the end of the season, you know, it's different. You know, it's just, you know, but they had a great start, which has kept them in the ball game. And they've had a wee tricky run now. So that's all they're talking about. They've forgot about the start of the season. So they've got 9 games left, and the players have to step up to the plate for the fans and for the manager and the staff and go, come on, we're going to get over this line. We're going to get it done. We're going to get this done. That's your job.
Yeah. And our view staying up with 9 games to go, and we look at that sort of run of games coming up. How are we feeling about Mansfield Town? We're feeling relatively relaxed.
Yeah, I think they'll do it. They'll do it. Yeah, they'll get across the line.
Yeah, definitely.
And what you're saying, if you're Nigel, what are you saying to the players having won that one game, having lost, not won for 14? What are you saying when it comes to the next game?
It all comes down to basics. If you get the basics right, you win football matches. If you don't, you're not going to win football matches. Just, I know everybody looks at a game with a fine tooth comb now. Yeah. Just make the players sit down, watch that, and say, right, just do that. Don't change anything. And Nigel's not one to change anything drastically. So, just believe in yourselves. He gives the players belief, and you don't need to do any more than that. It's not rocket science, football. I mean, it is in the Premier League, but I think that's why Forest have done so well in the Premier League. They're ignoring how everybody else is supposed to play. Yeah. The Man City way. They're playing their way, and that's all you can do. You play with the players you've got. I did Southampton Wolves at the weekend. Southampton are bottom for a reason, because they try and play out from the back. If you haven't got the players to play out from the back, don't do it, because you're going to get relegated. Just look at your players and play to their strengths.
And that is whatever the league, whether it's...
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Exactly. Brilliant. Okay, great discussion. Right, that's all for now, but after the break, we'll be talking about Notts County, who continue to lack consistency in their promotion campaign after they fell to defeat in the East Midlands derby against Chesterfield at the weekend. That's coming up. Welcome back to Team Talk with me, Mark Shardlow, joined by Charlie McParlin, Nathan Tyson, Gary Birtles and Colleen Malveni. Right, into League Two and Notts County now. They fell to defeat in the East Midlands derby clash against Chesterfield. The match finished 2-1. All 3 goals came in the final 20 minutes. Bim Peppel opened the scoring for the Spyrites on the 70th minute before Will Jarvis, with his first Notts goal, levelled the scoreline 11 minutes later. And that looked to be enough to share the spoils. But Tom Naylor had other ideas when he put the ball past Sam Slocum with 2 minutes left to play. Speaking after the match, head coach Stuart Maynard said his side played well, but just weren't ruthless.
As a performance, really pleasing. I think the lads' tempo, the way they've come out, we said that we had to make sure that we come out and get the crowd with us from minute one. I think we did that. I think the whole first half performance was excellent. I think we've probably created 3 massive moments. So I think when you look at creating the types of chances we created in the first half, you'd like to think you should go in at least 1 or 2 goals in front. But we didn't. We have to be ruthless in them areas. We have to be, because in the big games, in these games, when you're playing against top teams, which Chesterfield have some top players for the level, we always knew coming out the second half we could get punished.
Well, Colleen, as the Notts County fan, I'm going to ask you to lead off. You came back from a month's holiday to that. Actually, they played fairly well, I thought.
They played well in the first half, and Jatta he had his, I think it was the 7th minute or so, he got the goal disallowed for the one offside in the whole game. But we've got, it's the bench. For me, they're saying Jatta's tired and this, that and the other, but I mean, it is a shame, yeah. But they're just so inconsistent, and to be fair, Matty Platt, he's been amazing at the back. I think a couple of mistakes, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can't switch off, and that was the hard thing at the weekend, especially. I thought Notts County dominated the first half.
I mean, he won every header, but he just switched off a couple of times, and that was it.
But it's an issue in front of goal, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The chances are being created, but they're not being put away.
Not being put away, no.
You know what Brian Clough used to say? Never make a good chance better.
Okay.
Always take it. If you see it, don't take an extra touch. Make your mind up early. Yeah. Don't make a good chance better. If you're in that position, a number of times you see players take an extra touch. You think, why have you taken an extra touch? You didn't need that.
Yeah, and there was a classic there. And saying that, I don't know if you saw it, but Didsey, Dave McGoldrick, a beautiful ball through near the end to Matty Palmer. Yeah. Took a touch too many and didn't get the shot away.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can take positives from the game, but I tell you, what's happening in the game at the moment and at all levels is this going down. I mean, Paul Cook was in the ear of the 4th official constantly. That's the type of guy he is, yeah. And his players go down regularly, and they all go to the sideline and they have a little team talk.
Can I just say something? First of all, do you think Jatta was offside?
To where I was in the cop, and I got no idea, to be
honest.
And
you're not noticing the Notts County goal, when Bass is normally in,
Yeah.
he always goes down holding his hamstring at certain times of the game.
Yeah,
And it's just what they do now.
I know.
And
Especially in the derby game.
got to
yes,
stop it.
And what I've noticed about Notts County a little bit, they say sometimes they have really good first halves and they dominate the game.
Yeah.
Then the second half, they let the opposition into the game. And I think that's what happened the Chesterfield game and other games at home.
It
when
is.
they've lost games.
They made 5 substitutes.
Yeah. Quality of the bench.
Absolutely, and it changed the game. I looked at our bench, and I mean they're all very young. There's only Curtis Edwards who came with a big reputation and hasn't
I think
really
you've got to learn
performed.
by that, haven't you? I think Forest have learned by that. You know, they were sort of, when they're in the lead, they sat back and encouraged teams on. But this season, haven't done it.
No.
They say, right, we're going to finish this off. You know, we're not going to sit on this. We're going to go for more. And, you know, the belief is there to do that. And I think you've got to be positive in that respect.
On the signings, Colleen, the lad, was it Montague, went to Swansea.
Yeah.
But before I think he went to Swansea, he brought the players in. He was actually...
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he's had a lot of praise. Langstaff is a no-brainer because everybody in this country had been watching him play in the non-leagues, which come up trumps because he came in, scored loads of goals for Notts County, and they sold him for a bit of money.
But if you lose players like Langstaff and you lose Dan Crowley, who are two of your best players, you've got to, if you're looking seriously at promotion, you've got to replace them
And
with
Jody Jones.
life.
I mean, we
and
lost.
Jody Jones injured.
You know,
Well,
that's a massive
when you
loss.
had Jones, Crowley, Didsey,
Yeah.
Langstaff, they're the best players in the league by a mile. And
Yeah.
I still think they've got enough players in that league because we spoke about it. I think it's quite a weak league, right, to get promoted. But they're still there. So they won the game. They're in the top 3.
But the problem is, the lower league, you go in leagues and your key players get injured, you can't really replace that quality. That's what you're struggling against. Premier League, no problem at all. You know, there's a load of players you can bring on and substitute whatever. But the lower you get, it's difficult with the lack of money.
Their ambitions because they sold Langstaff. Crowley's left in the window. So there's 2 of their best players.
Yeah, I think they've. I mean, I think
Jody Jones is injured.
Look,
And Dids has been injured.
They've taken a pragmatic approach. They've stated that they want to run the club in a prudent way, a financially prudent way. So you've got to, and we've all know clubs where the managers, you've probably been the manager that's knocked on the door, just one more player, one more striker, one more this, one more that, a bit more investment, and we're going to make it.
Could I just say something here while we're talking about this? We've not mentioned the fact that Notts County could still easily make the top 3.
I just mentioned it.
They're not. Oh, did you?
Listen to me.
I tried to switch off when you're talking.
Listen,
It's hard work.
listen, get your key on it. No. I just
You didn't
says
say that.
I just said that a minute ago. I says, if we win the game, they're in the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't say the
You
fact.
don't not
No,
listen,
I never listened to you.
You do not listen. Come on.
Right,
You touched me once more.
Let's look at the table here, Nathan. I think the point is that, I accept what you say there, Gary, but Notts County have had 3 or 4 opportunities in the last few weeks to nail on position in the top 3. And there they are, still in 5th, with Port Vale level on points with a game in, not a game in hand. I thought they had a game in hand. Right, so they should have had another 5 or 6 points, really. It's such an inconsistent
Everybody else
league.
could say that, though.
They could, but Notts County have got the quality.
That league is absolutely carnage. So at the end of the day, you can have someone coming in, like I think you were saying, Colchester on a big run, and they can just leapfrog everyone. I think they've got themselves in a really good position. Like you said, they're on touching distance of getting into that top 3. It's 3 that go up. You know, it makes it easier. If not, you're in the playoffs anyway. But I think Notts County can get it. Even on the form that they're on now, they're still in a good position because you know those other teams are going to be dropping points.
And the goal difference is a little bit better than those around them, so that helps.
So
And Dids is back, David McGoldrick. What a difference he makes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just he just belies his age. He's the way he runs around and
His
just
football brain.
His
football
brilliant.
brain is outstanding.
you need his
it
experience
is.
in there.
Yeah.
You know, the positions he drops in to get a hold of the ball. And there was an instance, and I thought he could have done better with his shot on the edge of the box at the start of the game. he played an unbelievable 1-2.
Yeah.
Half turn,
Yeah.
dropped his shoulder, bang, bang. Didn't quite get his shot away.
Maybe that's a lack of sharpness, having had a few weeks in.
But normally David, he sticks him in the back of the net. It's like the Grimsby goal. Wow. Just on the pitch. Dropped his shoulder, still had a lot to do. You'll say, the defender should have got closer, but he's hit an early shot in the corner for outside the box. And how many times has he did this season? And he's missed lots of games, and I think he's still got 15 league goals, 14 league goals. That's how important it is.
So let's have a quick look at the games coming up then. Starting this weekend with Crewe. Feels like, well, they're all... Yeah, that's a decent set of fixtures. The Cole one is the one that catches my eye.
That'd be...
The old Crowley brothers, desperate to do something again in this division. But Crewe this weekend, lunchtime kick-off. Actually, I'm gonna give you praise now. You've been on holiday for a month, and despite that, you're the other side of the world. You've been getting up at 3:30 in the morning to watch Notts County matches live. Wow, that is a devotion.
No, listen, she was still out having a baby. She was out there with a pina coladas, like, let's have a drink and watch the game at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sounds like after that performance, you needed a bottle of
Time now for your weekend predictions. This weekend we haven't got much on because of the international break, so we're going to start with Notts County against Crewe. How are we seeing this one Saturday lunchtime?
I'm going for Notts County to bounce back. Massive game. If Notts County lose that, people can jump ahead of them big style and they're dropping down again, and it's a psychological thing.
I think if you learnt your lesson from the Chesterfield game, then they're going to win. I've got them down for the win.
How are you seeing it, Colleen?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a win. I'm not convinced, to be honest. So it Jatters away.
International.
They've recalled Junior Marias, and the other guy, Traore's injured.
Yeah.
So, a win.
Okay.
Let's go.
Not confident, but
Scrappy win.
Scrappy win, that will do.
That's a great win.
How about Forest Women Stoke in the League Cup final? We all going to say Forest Women for this one?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They have to be favourites.
Absolutely, nailed on that. England, Albania and Latvia, 2 wins.
I'm not really interested. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm sorry. I'm not really interested. England played Latvia.
There's the difference. There's the difference there. When we're not playing in Scotland, Ireland and Wales, we all want Ireland to win.
Exactly.
But him, no.
2 wins. 2 wins. 2 wins.
Two
Okay,
wins.
Charlie. Charlie. Just for you, Scotland against Greece.
Scotland win. And if Elliot wants to come and play for Scotland and we get a striker, we could be a right team.
Very good. Brilliant. Charlie, thank you very much for your contributions today. Gary, great to have you here as ever. Colleen, thanks for coming back and cheering and waving the flag for Notts County. Nathan too, thank you very much. And that's it for this week. Thank you for watching too. We're back with Team Talk at the same time next week, and hopefully we'll see you then. Bye-bye.